How fun! We have 5 new wallpaper hacks. Keep watching! I'm Brandy, and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome back. The first project is going to be a decorative box. So I've got this little box here, and I think it's a puzzle box or some type of a toy box because it says Melissa and Doug. So maybe it had a little puzzle in there. And this beautiful wallpaper that I got. Love it. If you like black and white, you can get the paper from Dollar Tree, if you want to save a little money. We're going to use some black chalk paint to paint the interior, and we're going to take that sticker off the back. Blood, sweat, and tears, y'all. That one was not coming off easily. So the inside of this box, I want it to be completely black. So I'm going to paint the inside of each section. I'm going to paint the inner walls and the little cross sections. Everything on the inside is going to be nice and dark. We want all the focus to be on the beautiful wallpaper that we're going to be using to decorate the outside of this box. So conveniently, there are lines on the back of this paper, which I love. We're just going to put the box here and decide how much we need for the sides. I didn't have a big enough piece to go all the way around in one section, so I'm just going to cut it, and I'll show you how you can patch your pieces together. It's really quite easy. So just cut off the strip. Then I'm going to remove part of the backing, line it up with the bottom edge of the box, press it down with my fingers, and then I'm going to hold it in place and use this little squeegee. You can use a credit card, an old credit card, your driver's license, whatever, to do this if you don't have this tool. But you can get something similar to it at Dollar Tree, I believe. And then just kind of holding it tightly, not too tight, you know what I mean. Get a good amount of pressure on it. Pull that paper and press it down. This is not contact paper, so it is thicker, and it's not that plastic type. I've had the papers before that are sort of a plasticky type stuff, and this is not that. This is really good quality paper. Although I have to say, the adhesive on the back of this is not as wonderful as I would like it to be. I would never put this on a wall, I don't think, unless I use something underneath it to help it stick to, because even in the end, there are little situations where you can see it coming up just a tad. But I find another way later on in this video to help it stay in place. So just hang in with me. Hang in with me. All right, I'm going to trim off the extra piece over here. I'm going to leave a little extra overhang for the corner, like so. And I'm just going to kind of wrap it around and push it down. And then I'll get another piece to go right here on that edge. And this is actually, I think this would be the back of the box. But it doesn't really matter where you start and finish, because the way we do this, you're not even going to notice. All right. So we're doing some patchwork here. Again, I'm using my bottom edge to line it up, and all of the uneven parts are going to be on top. I have a little overhang on both sides. I'm going to make sure that I push it all flat. Want to get bubbles and any possible wrinkles out. I did not have any wrinkling, but you still can catch bubbles in there. You don't want that. And you're going to take your sandpaper or your sanding block or emery board, whatever you're using, and just start to shear that away. I'm going at kind of an angle so that I'm not pressing down on the side or the right side that's going down there. Just kind of over the corner. It'll shear off what's excess on the other side and shear off what's excess on the top part that I'm working on right now. So you can see the wood there underneath a little bit. That is totally okay. I'm fine with that. We're going to fix that. Then I'm going to work on the upper sections, and I'm just going to start sanding that off. If you want to use a tool to cut it off, you can definitely do that. But one benefit of using a sanding block that I have found is it roughs up the edge of the paper, which allows any aging you do to really soak into it. That's why I like to do it this way. All right. But it's good to have options, right? So if you don't want to do that, you certainly don't have to. Now this is the top part of the box that kind of slides into it to cover it. And I'm just going to cut a section off to go right there. You can see I also painted that black little raised area there. I've cut off a section that I like. I'm going to lay it down and then just press it flat. Using a wooden ruler works really good here too, because it won't cut into it and it'll get a long, even swipe all the way across. I'm going to pay some extra attention to all the edges. Just go right down on those edges and press away. By the way, y'all, this paper came from Temu, but you certainly don't have to use Temu paper if you're not a Temu shopper. We don't have to get into it. Please don't, or we'll just have to delete the comments. We stay positive here. But you can get your paper anywhere you would like. Take the inspiration, right? All right, so now I'm going to use another sander, and this is just a finger sander. I use pretty much whatever I get my hands on. And then I'm going to go over the edges of this with a little bit of that black chalk paint because I want it to be a nice piece, a nice covered piece. And then on the back side, I'm going to go ahead and just paint that black. No sense wasting my wallpaper on something we're not going to see. Now we're going to start our aging process because you know I like to do this. Feel free to leave yours exactly how it is if you don't like that rustic or aged look. Love this part. I can't imagine having a piece without it. But that's just my taste and what brings me joy. You know, on this channel, I like to give you lots of inspiration. Maybe this isn't your style. Maybe you don't like black and white. Maybe you don't like aging. Just grab that inspiration and run with it. Make it your own, right? And what a beautiful little box that you could have here. Put jewelry in or any kind of trinkets that you have. You could do anything you want with this. Anything you want. Maybe even use it as a little bank. Put your bills in one slot and your coins in different sections. You know. Endless options, people. Endless options. So I'm going to go around the entire thing. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to even go over the black part because I kind of stippled that black on so it would look kind of rough and aged. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one, going in stripes down the side and slightly on top. And then now I am going to kind of blend things together, right? We don't want to just do the edges and leave the top sparkly white. We got to bring that tone down just a little bit. And y'all, this is my antiquing wax. I use it in probably all of my videos. And just so you know, no matter what you pay for that bottle of antiquing wax, I've had that bottle and used that bottle for years now. It does not take a lot to get the look that I like anyway. I don't want it to look like it was dropped off in a mud hole, but I do want it to look like it has collected some dust and it's had a lot of fingerprints on it, you know? So now it almost has a creamy texture or color than having that solid bright white color. The bright white is great if you like a more modern or farmhouse look probably, but for me, you know, I like the aging and the rustic. Now I'm just gonna, after you let sections dry, you want to go back in and add different types of techniques to age it. You can certainly do that. Now slide the lid back on and check it out and see what I think about it. See if it looks the way I like it. It is sliding in and out easily because the paper is not thick, so it's not gonna interfere with the working parts of the box. But I really like the way this looks. So what would you put in yours? How would you use this box? Would you put anything special in here? Maybe some, I don't know, hand-me-down jewelry from grandma, or you could even use this for sewing notions or crafting pieces. You could use it for anything, right? You could hide your Reese's peanut butter cups in there. You sure could. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way that this one turned out, and I hope you try it too. Okay, the next one is going to be a memo board. We're going to start off with just this little wood cutout. It's like a frame piece. I have a candlestick that I've already used before, and I'll be using it again. And then a piece of that paper. I'm going to make sure that I have enough to go all the way over the frame, because rather than framing a piece of the paper, we're going to actually paper frame. How about that? A little different spin on that. You thought I was going to do something simple, didn't you? Nope. Okay, so we're going to cut that out on the inside because that's going to be the inside, obviously, of the frame, and I'm just going to use a little knife here to cut this right along the lines. If you're new here, I would love to have you as a subscriber and help me get to my 100,000 goal by Halloween. I'm going to have a party with giveaways and all that good stuff, and I would love for you to be part of it. But only subscribe if you enjoy budget-friendly, unique projects, okay? I think I have something to offer on this channel for just about anybody, so I would love to have you as part of my family. Okay, now I'm gonna, if you cut it correctly, it should fit right down on there. Now this is easier than putting the paper on top of the frame. It's just easier to put the paper down, put the frame on top. If you don't have one of these, go and buy yourself a regular frame from Dollar Tree, take the glass and the backing off, and you can use it that way on a plain square frame, okay? Now I'm just going to do the same thing. We're always going to work to make this nice and flat. The flatter you get it, the more it is going to stick down to your project that you're working on. I have no idea what I was doing here, thinking I was going to cut on a table, but I am going to cut on my little mat here. It's a self-healing mat. I've had it forever, and I did get it at the bins. So I'm just going to kind of roughly cut around here. It's not going to matter if I have big sections that are still on there because I'm going to use my sanding block. I just want the excess off. And you could skip that part if you don't want to do that and just use some scissors and cut the bulk of it down, you know. I love my little finger sander because it works so well to get around all the corners. You can really get it in curved areas, in a tight space. It just really works good for that. But if you don't have something like this, get an emery board. Get you one of those packs of emery boards from Dollar Tree. If they're too floppy, hot glue 2 of them together, make them a little bit stronger, and try use that. See if that works for you. I don't want you to have any reason to stop crafting or give up on your project because there are ways to get around things. And I love it. Oh, I like that. All right, so I'm going to use my walnut furniture repair marker, also from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go around the edges. Because where I sanded, you can see the wood and the white from the paper, and I want to kind of cover that up. And then I'm going to take that antiquing wax, and I'm going to go almost like when you're little and you traced on your coloring page. You know, you went over it with a darker color or black. That's what I'm doing here. And look at the difference it makes in the frame. Really makes the print pop, and it really gives that suggestion of increased age, you know, of something being vintage or old. So we're going to go around the inside too. Then once that dries, I'm going to just dot it all the way around. This is going to further blend that color in without any harsh lines. And you could also, you know, if you only have a brush, you don't have something like a sponge or something you could use a brush to kind of blend those together. Be sure when you're doing different techniques though that you do let those sections dry in between, because if you don't, it's just going to be a beige muddy mess, right? And we don't want that. But look at all the detail that is brought out. I love it. Over at the Dollar Tree, you can get these cork pages. They are adhesive on the back, and I'm going to make 2 layers, just measuring down to see how much is going to go to cover up the entire inside and also have a little excess on the outside so that we have something to glue it down to the frame. I'm going to just cut that out and peel off the back. And what I should have done was peel the back off of each section and slapped it together, so I would have the sticky sides facing one another. But I didn't, but I fixed it, so don't worry. You put yours together the way I said, not the way I did. All right, so I went ahead and colored the back of the frame also in the same color marker that I went around the edges. That walnut, you can get those in 3 packs, I think over in the automotive section at Dollar Tree. And I do suggest you getting those. They are wonderful. I've used them on lots of things, never let me down. So working on the back, I'm just going to glue that together. Make sure nothing sticks out so you can't see the cork on the front side. I'm going to cut a piece of popsicle stick or craft stick to go on the bottom, and this is going to be what's going to hold that down in that candle stand. Now that was a glass candle stand that I painted, I think it was a silver spray paint, and then I used some other color on top. just very, very from a distance and made the little black dots so it looks like silver. I'll see if I can find that video. I might be able to find that video to link. If you don't see it, then I couldn't find it. But anyway, I'm going to use a little command hook here because I want to have options, and I'm going to add some hot glue and some, I don't know, what's the name of that glue? You know the name of that glue. You saw the bottle. I can't remember what it is because it's new. A friend suggested it, and yeah, I tried it. So Kendra, thank you for the suggestion. Seems to be working great. I got these from Temu. They have little magnets on the back, and they're black butterflies. They're so pretty. I'm just going to glue this down because just because it has a magnet doesn't mean it belongs on the refrigerator, right? You can use these for all kinds of things. And the wings you can kind of bend. So we're going to have some butterflies sitting on here. I love the look of that. This takes it slightly over into the moody and dark area, which I love. But it still brings the light in from the beautiful butterflies. See, and then on the back, I'm going to add a large butterfly. Y'all, the stuff is called Loctite, I believe. Yeah, I think so. And this is what it's going to look like. So you can use the front to, you're going to need sharp tacks though, because you don't have a wood back. So sharp tacks, or just use the hook to hang your keys off of. That's what I was thinking. Yep. But of course, if you want to really use this only as a cork board, leave the hook off and put a piece of wood on the back. Or just go ahead and put your sticky notes on there. I love the look of this, and I hope that you do too. You can use both sides. Don't worry, I covered that up with Mod Podge and it's no longer sticky. The next is going to be a beautiful tray. I have got some drawer pulls, some black spray paint, I love 2X, some more of that black chalk paint, and that beautiful paper, using the same roll, everybody. All these from the same roll. And then this piece of wood that I got from the bins. You can see the measurements here to give you an idea. You can use a straight board for this. You don't have to use something with curves, but I really like the look of it. It's very pretty to me. I'm going to sand the top. I could feel the texture in this board. So I thought by sanding it, maybe I could make this a little bit flatter, a little flatter surface, but I couldn't get it completely flat. Now I do have a sander, but I'm trying to consider those of you who don't have those tools. So we're going to work around that, okay? We're going to work around it. I'm going to measure a piece that overhangs slightly because I don't want to measure anything too flat. See, I can feel the ridges in here, so I'm thinking there's no way this is going to stick. I'm going to grab my matte Mod Podge, give it a nice coat on the back. And we're going to apply this almost like you would a wallpaper that you have to use adhesive on the back side. Y'all, please don't be intimidated or scared by that. You'll see why we use this. It's more than just because it leaves a permanent hold. You'll also be able to move that paper around a little bit. Okay, so don't be scared of new things. Let's just try it and see, right? See how I could slide that right over on the top? Yes. That way I can get my measurements almost precise, you know, because I am not going to drag a ruler out for that. Y'all know me by now? We eyeballing it. By the way, in my store, I do have lots of things that I have designed on my own in my shop, and I actually have a t-shirt design coming out that says eyeballing it. That's right, eyeballing it, because I ain't doing the numbers. We're not measuring over here. So this time, I decided, okay, well, I can use the back of a canvas and just cut on that. I've used it before. Y'all can use this for cutting if you don't have one of those boards like a lot of us crafters have. So if you can't afford it, just buy one of those mats from Dollar Tree, one of those canvas things. The larger the better. And then you can just cut on that. Protect your surfaces, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and just sand this. It's not even dry yet, but I'm going to go ahead and sand it. You can certainly wait until it is dry, but it is sticking on here and not sliding around. I'm going to go over it, kind of score that edge and take that off. I'm also going to go slightly on the top. For the same reason I mentioned earlier, it's going to help that antiquing wax to stick onto the paper that's under there. All right, so I have spray painted the handles. They are outside drying in the sun, and we're going to start with the painting on the board. You could definitely just use wax here if you wanted to and just make it brown. But again, I'm trying to make this appealing to those who like a little bit more moody decor. So we're going to let that dry. Also, you can paint the back of the board. And then I'm going to take a sponge brush and I'm going to just sponge over the edge with the black paint. It's going to blur the line. See how pretty? You can actually see it as I do the process, how it blurs it out. And it's going to help fade the black edges into the wallpaper look. The further you go in or the bigger the brush you use, it's going to leave a thicker rim around the edge, okay? I'm rounding it out and I love the look. Let's let that dry. Then I'm going to grab those brushes. There's my Type Bind Quick and Thick. There it is, y'all. And this is an experimental thing because I've never used it before. But let me tell you, I'll be using it from now on. Yes. And it's not really expensive considering, you know, a lot of craft stuff we use is expensive. I'm going to add some of this on here and smear it all around where it touches the surface because it ideally should stick on just about anything. I will be testing that as time goes by. And I'm just going to find a spot that looks like it should go there. Again, I'm testing this glue. You would want to put screws in here if you plan on putting anything heavy on here and lifting it. But for me, this is a decorative piece that I will have my candles on. My flameless candles, of course. I rarely use a regular candle unless it's sitting someplace very safe where no one can get to it. Just for the smell, you know. But I love my flameless candles. All right, and then I'm going to put the other side down. I sped that up. I didn't just jam it down. I just sped it up for y'all. It looks like I just plunged it into there, but I didn't. Y'all be careful. Then I just wiped up the excess that came out, and then we're going to let that dry. And look at this beautiful, beautiful piece. The handles are hanging on there. I wiped up around it, but I still don't see any residue from that glue, so not like hot glue would be kind of bulging out and you'd have to peel it off. And it's working fine on its own with no hot glue. I really hope you like this project. Yes. Hey, come check out my new videos on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. I'll see you in the comments. The next is going to be a candle jar. So I thrifted this recently. Little jar. You can see it came from, I guess, Hobby Lobby. It's got a little dent in the lid, but that's okay. We're going to give it some love and we're going to use it. Just about 4.5 inches tall. Going to take that same paint, a little flameless candle, and a strip with a bee on it. This is what I do with my Goo Gone, y'all. When you take a sticker off and it's hard to get off, I take this brush, I dip it down into there, and it's a scratchy brush, and I just scratch it on there. It lifts it right off. It scrubs it right off. Wipe it off, and then I clean everything with glass cleaner. Any type of glass cleaner or a spray alcohol would also work, or you could just put it in the sink with a little soapy hot water and try it. All right, so now we're going to take that black chalk paint and go all over the top. This is going to disguise that little dip in there. You won't even see it when this thing is dry because it dries matte. I'm going to go all the way around, only one coat. All right, y'all, here's a tip. When you're painting, wrap it up with a couple of baby wipes, put it aside, and they'll be wet when you get ready to use them again. Yes. All right, so now I want to decide how much I need on this candle. I want to make sure that I go only on the flat part. I am not going to go on the part that is rounded on the jar. It's just not necessary and it's more difficult to do. So we're going to work right where the jar is flat. I'm going to center this where the bee is in front, or at least on one side completely and not kind of in a corner, you know. And then I'll just kind of wrap that around. I just hold a little pressure on it. It really, with wallpaper, just a little pressure on it to lay it flat. Then I'm going to wrap it. I'll cut off the excess in an inconspicuous place. But again, we're going to do some things to this and you won't be able to really see where it starts and stops. Nice. Happy so far with it. And by the way, I call this a candle jar, but you could certainly put anything you want in your jar. Okay? Now I want to address the edge. A couple of things you could do here. If you wanted to get like some black satin ribbon, you could go right here where it joins and put some ribbon across here. Or it doesn't have to be satin, it could be anything. But for me, let's do it the simple way for those of y'all who bought your paint but don't have the ribbon. And take that same sponge brush that we used on the tray, and we're just going to dab that on the glass section, overlapping onto the wallpaper. Certainly, I'll say it again, if you don't want to put this on your jar and you like it without any extra on it, you are totally free and correct to leave it without the stuff. For me, putting the extra little bits on there really helped to make it my own and really make it something that brings me joy. But that doesn't mean my style is going to bring you joy, right? But I still want you to see the videos and get that inspiration. I can't say that enough. And I know I've probably said it 3 times already in this video, but I really mean it because it does matter. It does matter. They might not look alike, you know, we might not have identical pieces, but that is totally fine. So now we got our jar lid and some more of these magnet butterflies, and see how you can bend them? Love it. There's a little bitty magnet right in the middle. You can bend that to look like they're in flight or that they're resting, or you can leave them flat. Totally up to you. These are so pretty. I'll be doing another video. My videos this coming up will be Sunday rather than Monday, y'all. Sunday rather than Monday. So be sure you watch, because I'm going to show you how to do a project with butterflies that did not come from Temu, that actually came from Dollar Tree. So you'll be able to, if you like butterflies, you'll be able to get an idea of what you can do with those. After that black is dry, I'm going to go in and add a little bit of antiquing wax on a smaller brush and just kind of tap that over the black and slightly down onto the wallpaper, and then over each of the little squared sections. I say squared because it's not really a square jar. Close enough. I guess we could call it that. And kind of pull it down onto the picture. And this is how it looks. Now it is still slightly damp from the sponge, so I'm going to take my brush here and blend it all in. You're getting lots of techniques on aging in this video, and I hope that that is something that you like to see, because I really enjoy doing it, and it really helps change the look of your pieces to look unique and not like everyone else's, right? So I'm just going to drop that little candle in there. Got my little butterflies, just, you know, you can even take them off. I didn't even glue them down. And this is what she will look like. I love this. Look how pretty. I'm going to show you what it looks like with the lights off too, just so you get an idea. In dimmer lighting, what it looks like. Oh my goodness. Yes. I love it. This was a cute one. This did not take a lot of time to do, except for paint, you know, drying in between, but I know that you can do this. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. Time for a round. All right, now we got some velvet ribbon. Dollar Tree, of course. I think this was the Halloween ribbon. Very, very pretty. Not much on the spool, though. I have got a curtain ring. And some more wallpaper. In case y'all were wondering, no, I don't have all that extra wallpaper left. Here's a round that I've already used in another project. These were filmed in a different order than they were made. Edited. Got it? Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to place this down, and I am going to trim out just pretty much like a square around it. I want to have a little to play with. I know I want that butterfly somewhere in there, so that's why I laid it that way. I want the butterfly in there. And I'm just going to kind of drop this over the top. You see how I bend it to help make it flat? And grab that. The reason you use the wooden ruler and not the metal is because the metal can cut into it when you snag it on something. So you don't want to do that. But a nice smooth edge ruler is going to be a nice smooth finish. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. And you could also use this in the opposite direction and just lay it down on top of it, of the paper. Now I'm going to trim off a little more of the excess. I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to go all the way around and make sure that I really burnish this down, really press this into place. You can also use a brayer, anything like that. I want to make sure that it is going to stick because, like I said in the other projects, it doesn't necessarily have the best stick, at least not the roll that I have. It will stick down, but you might be better off kind of sealing the edges with something, you know, because wallpaper is not designed to be handled this way anyhow. So, you know, can't blame it on the maker necessarily. Now use whatever type of sander you want and start working on your edges, just like you've seen me do 1,000 times. I have to show you this though because, hey, what if this is the first time you've been to my channel? We don't want to leave anybody in the dark. Okay? Everybody gets the goodness. And then drop their little sander down there. It's very important. You have to drop it. Then go back over the edges. Like I said, rough it up a little bit so that it will stick to our wax really well. All right, and this is how it is going to look. Nice and sanded. You see the edges are a little bit whiter. You can see in the under part of the paper. I am going to put this down in a box top and spritz it with some walnut stain oxide spray. I got this from Amazon. It is a Tim Holtz product, and I am just going to spritz it. Now this is a different type of aging. It's very light. You see that? See the little dots on there? Some are a little bit more than others. Great option for you. Let that dry. Then I just sprayed a little bit in the little tray here. I'm going to take a finger dauber, add some in, squish the excess out because it's very liquidy compared to the antiquing wax. And I'm going to go around the edge with that. So the color is a little bit different. Just a little bit. This is more like a tea stain maybe. Let it dry and start working on the hanger. So we're going to take that little eye hook out and of course save it because, you know, we could use it in a different project. Here's the ring. We're going to work on the hanger. Like I said, I'm going to cut a section of this off. I have done this in other videos before and I love the way this looks so vintage to me and so Victorian. I'm going to cut this off at 12 inches. There's only, I think, 3 feet on that entire spool. So Dollar Tree did us dirty on that. But it does say it on the packaging, so, you know, in their defense. If I would have read that, I would have known it. I learned that last year in Halloween. All right, so we're just looping it over. So it will end up being about 6 inches because we've looped it over. A little bit of glue. Protect your fingers, y'all. And then I'm going to just tack the 2 edges together. I want to be sure that I'm covering up the section with the hole in it from the hook. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue and pull that right down into it so that it stays in place. And hold it there until it is dry. Doesn't take but a second or, you know, a minute, whatever. Now you can check on which way you want your butterfly to go. So if you want it to be a little to the left, you can, a little to the right, you can. However you want to do it is perfect. I usually try to look at the stems on the plants around it, but I decided I like the idea of my butterfly flying off to the side, so I am going to orient it that way. It only takes hot glue on the back. These little paper rounds from Dollar Tree are lightweight. It doesn't take a lot to hold them in place. And then I'm just going to squish that ribbon right into that glue. Marry those together. And when you flip it over, it looks like this. And you can leave it that way if you would like, but if you want to really doll it up, take the rest of the ribbon off that spool, make the awareness sign, squish it in the middle, and you have a simple, beautiful little velvet bow. I'm just going to cut a piece of ribbon off that I had there that's black, and I'm going to tie it around the middle. I don't want to use jute on this because I don't want it to, I'm not trying to get that look out of it, right? I'm trying to stay consistent through the project with making it look old, and I don't think jute would have been on a Victorian piece, and that's kind of what this is inspired by, in case y'all are wondering, all these pieces. And I'm going to take that beautiful, beautiful little bow. Of course, you want to fluff the bow, you want to make it look crisp and even on the sides, and then I'm going to cut at a slant rather than dovetailing. You do it your way, make it your own. Then I'm going to situate the tails, and this is wired ribbon, which is great for the projects that require a bow to stay in the look that you like. And you can either hang it on the top or you could hang it right next to the bottom. And I decided let's just put it on the top, and that way we can see the entire round and it will look so pretty. This would be a round that you would probably want to use in your house, maybe on an interior door, because this is something that would probably drive you nuts, opening and shutting the front door, because it's got, it's got some slack in it. Now, if you would like, you can take some more of your butterflies. You can add one in the boat. You can add it to the side. Put them wherever you want to on there. You could have them sitting on the flowers. You could also just cover up and make it 3D right on top of the one that's in the middle. It's totally up to you, but I'm going to leave it just as is. Yes. Thank you to my members. I'm making a new card for y'all. Thank y'all so much, because you help this channel to grow. You really do, and I appreciate that. This is how this one is going to look hanging. Yes, that is really pretty. You see my little Dollar Tree fence in the background? 2 little panels of the little Dollar Tree fence if you want to use that in your home for decor. Check out the next video in the rectangle right here. I think it'll be great for you. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you soon. Bye.